I'm Brooklyn Minix, your anchor. Here in Mercer County, there was a few new COVID guidelines that come out last week. If a student or staff member was to test positive for COVID-19, that person would have to self-isolate for 10 days. The individual could return to school on day 6. They have to agree to wear a mask that covers mouth and nose at all times. They could only take it off if eating lunch or breakfast. If you was exposed to COVID, you still have to quarantine for 10 days. You can test on day 5th of your quarantine. If that test comes back negative, you can return to school on the 6th day. For the 6th day to 10th day, you will have to eat in the gym. Monday night, our girls hit the road and played Shady Spring. Our JV girls won 28-10. Our varsity girls blew them out of the water 50-12. Tuesday night, our boys returned to action with a road game against Peterstown. JV had a close game and won 42-39. Our varsity did come up a little short and lost a close one. This was their first game back after an extended COVID-related break. They tried their best. The fourth quarter, they was tied at 33, but they couldn't get a shot up because of their defense. Our JV girls and varsity also played Peterstown Tuesday at home. Both teams won big, with the JV winning 41-10 and varsity 28-5. We'll have more in the late games of the next week on next time. Even though the temperatures are still below freezing, spring is right around the corner, and that means spring sports. Our baseball season will kick off with conditioning days, scheduled to begin on February 8th. Students planning to try out need to be sure they have a current physical, a glove, and mask. Tryouts are planned for February 28th and March 1st. We'll have more information as the season gets closer. Now to Jake for Worldwide Sports and our weather.
Thanks, Brooke. This past weekend, the NFL had the second round of the playoffs. Some would say we had some of the best games we've had in a while, most of them ending in a last-second field goal by the underdogs. Here's some of the scores from the games. All of these games were very good matchups, but most people think the Bills versus Chiefs game was the best. This game was back and forth all game, and then near the very end of the game, the Bills scored to take the lead with 13 seconds left. The next drive, the Chiefs drove down and kicked a field goal. This led to overtime. The Chiefs got the ball first and scored, ending the game and sending the Bills home. The second round of the playoffs was crazy, but one of the biggest things we heard last week was that Tom Brady might retire after 20 seasons of being one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I personally think there's a chance that he is done after this season, but he's going to give it some time and see how he feels physically and mentally. Looks like the cold weather is headed back our way this weekend. We are expected to get more snow this evening with a total of 1 to 3 inches. The real issue is tomorrow, where the high isn't going to get over the mid-20s. And Sunday, we are looking at partly cloudy conditions with temperatures topping out around 34. But no more snow. Next week, we start out cold, but the temperatures will climb near 50 toward the end of the week. We have a small chance for some rain and snow mix on Wednesday, but no accumulation expected. That's all for weather.
Now, fights are a big part that are happening in schools. Emily, do you want to tell us about them?
It's part of the middle school experience, but a new trend is taking off that is causing concern. With the increased use of social media, fights are finding their way online. Not only are the students who are fighting facing trouble for the fight, they also have to deal with the effects of having the fight posted online. For many of us, it's instinct to pick up your phone when something interesting happens. We do it before we even think about it, but do middle schoolers ever think about how it might affect the people around them by recording the fights? When you record a fight, you're disrespecting boundaries and could be suspended or worse. We need to think before we grab our phones to record a video. We also need to do the right thing. If a video is shared, never repost videos or fights. The consequences are not worth it.
That's it for today's show. See you next week.